Hi, in this video I'm going to be looking at level 3 algebra questions on shading inequalities. In this particular question we're being asked to shade the region that has satisfied all of these inequalities here. So we've got x is greater than 0, x plus y is less than 6 and y is greater than 3x take away 3. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we just want to make sure that we're happy about where we're going to draw each of these lines. Now that first one, where it says x is greater than 0, I'm going to draw the line x equals 0 to start with. And x equals 0 is just a vertical line that goes through 0, which is essentially just going to be my y-axis here. So I'm just going to label this line over here x equals 0. There's no point drawing on top of that line. The second inequality is x plus y is less than 6. So I'm going to draw the line x plus y is equal to 6. I'm just going to write that down underneath. That's what I'm drawing. Okay, so I'm going to now look for some points that are going to work where I add the x coordinate and the y coordinate together and I get 6. Okay, and I'm going to write down two sets of coordinates where that's going to be true. So the way that I like to do this is I like to choose one of the values to be 0 and then I can work out the other one. So in this particular case I'm going to choose the x value to be 0, so the x coordinate is 0, in which case I've got 0 plus y is equal to 6, and that tells me that the y would have to be equal to 6. Okay, 0 add 6 gives me 6. Similarly over here I'm this time going to choose the y coordinate to be 0, so I'll put 0 in there, and now I've got x plus 0 is equal to 6, and that tells me my x needs to be 6. Okay, now that's given me 2 points that I can plot. I've got 0, 6, so that's 0 along 6 up, which is this point here. And then I've got 6, 0, so that's 6 along 0 up, which is this point here. Okay, I'm now going to draw a line that goes through those 2 points. Okay, we need to be careful because we have a strict inequality. I'm going to draw a dashed line that goes through those 2 points there. Okay, so just as accurately as I can make it, I'm now going to draw my dashed line that goes through those 2 points there. Okay, so I'll label that line up. This one here is going to be x plus y is equal to 6. Okay. Once I've drawn all my lines in, I will then deal with the inequalities. The next one over here, I've got y is greater than 3x take away 3. So I'm going to start by drawing the line y is equal to 3x take away 3. Okay, so for this particular line here, I'm going to have, well, this is in the form y equals mx plus c. So this here is going to be my gradient, which is m, and this here is going to be my y-intercept, which is c. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my y-intercept, and that's 0, negative 3. So that's going to be that point there. Okay, that's where it's going to cross the y-axis. And it has got a gradient of 3. So that means every time I go one across, I'm going to go 3 up. Okay, that's going to give me a gradient of 3. So 1 across, 1, 2, 3 up. That takes me to that point there. 1 across, 1, 2, 3 up. That takes me to that point there. Okay, and I only need 2 points, but I will continue, and I've got a few points there. So what I want to do now is I want to draw a line that goes through those points. Again, like before, I need to make sure that this is a dashed line because we have a strict inequality. Okay, and I'm also going to label this line here as y is equal to 3x take away 3. Okay, now that I've got my 3 lines, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to have a look at each of these inequalities. So, the first one, we're saying that x is greater than 0. So essentially, we're looking for points where our x coordinate is greater than 0. So here's the line x is equal to 0. Everything on this side of the line, the x coordinate is greater than 0, so I'm going to have to move to this side of the line here. Okay, I'm now going to have a look at this one. So this is where I've got x plus y is less than 6, and because we're looking for situations where the x coordinate and the y coordinate is less than 6, This is when they're equal to 6, and anything below the line is going to be where it's less than 6. So I want to move to this side of the line here. Okay, and then finally I've got y is greater than 3x take away 3. So here's the line y is equal to 3x take away 3, and because I want the y coordinate to be greater than that, okay, I'm going to go this side of the line because this is the side of the line where the y coordinate is going to be greater. Okay, so we're going above this line, above the line. Okay, so now here's what I want to do. I want to be on this side of this line, below this line and above this line. So my region is going to be this part of the graph here. Okay, and it's in the question, it's saying label the region as R, so I'm just going to put the letter R in there as well once I've shaded it. Okay, so that's one question. We're now going to have a look at a further question. Okay, in this question it says on the grid we need to shade a region that satisfied all of these inequalities here. So we've got x is greater than -1, 2x plus y is less than 6, and we've got y is less than 4 take away x. Okay, so like I did before, what I want to do is I want to just make sure that I draw all of the correct lines. So I'm going to draw the line x is equal to -1, 2x plus y is equal to 6, and y is equal to 4 take away x. Okay, so with the first one over here, x is equal to -1. That's going to be a vertical line that goes through the x of -1. So it goes through -1 on the x-axis. So that's going to be this line here. Again, we need to be careful. This is the strict inequality, so we want to make sure that we do all of our lines dotted. Okay, so this is the first one here. And we're going to label this one up as x is equal to -1. Okay, the next line we want to draw is 2x plus y is equal to 6. So like I did before, I'm going to choose some points where this is going to be true. Okay, because this isn't the form y is equal to, this is probably the easier way of doing it. So I want two sets of coordinates that work, because then as soon as I've got 2 points I should be able to draw a straight line that goes through both of those points. So the first point I'm going to choose the x coordinate to be 0. So I'm letting x equal 0, and if x was 0 here, then 2 times 0 is 0, plus y is equal to 6, so y would have to be 6. Okay, so 2 times 0 plus 6 gives me 6, so it works on that one there. For the second one, this time I'm going to let y equal 0. So now I've got, because y is 0, 2x plus 0 is equal to 6. So 2x is equal to 6, and x would have to be 3. So this is going to be 3. So let's just check. 2 times my x coordinate plus my y coordinate, 2 times 3 is 6, and 0 is 6, and that gives me what I want. Okay, so these two points definitely lie on the line. So I'm now going to plot those 2 points. So 0, 6 is going to be 0 along and 6 up, that's that point there. And then 3, 0 is going to be 3 along, 0 up, which is this point here. I can now draw a line that goes through both of those points. Okay, so as accurate as I can, as always. And I'm going to draw that line there, okay? And we're going to label this line up. This line here is going to be, let's write it over here, is going to be 2x plus y is equal to 6. Okay, finally, we've got this line here, y is equal to 4 take away x. Okay, so I'm just going to write this as y is equal to, and I'm going to swap these around, -x plus 4, just so it's a little bit easier to spot what's going on. Okay, so this time I've got this in the form as y is equal to mx plus c. This tells me my gradient is equal to -1, and this here is telling me my y-intercept is equal to 4. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line that goes through 4 on the y-axis and has a gradient of -1. So here's 4 on the y-axis, so I know that's definitely going to be a point, and then I'm going to draw a line that has got a gradient of -1. So that means every time I go 1 across, I'm going to go 1 down because it's negative. So 1 across, 1 down, 1 across, 1 down, 1 across, 1 down, etc. Okay, and I'm just going to draw a line that goes through all of these points here. Okay, as accurately as I can. Okay, so this line here, we're going to label it up as y is equal to 4 take away x. Right, so what we now want to do is we want to shade the inequalities that we want. We want, where it says x is equal to -1, we actually want x is greater than -1. So that means we want to be on this side of the line. That's where the x coordinate is greater than -1. So I'm just going to draw an arrow, we're going that way. And then for 2x plus y is less than 6. So this is the line 2x plus y is equal to 6. And because it's less than, I want to go below the line. Okay, so we're going to go below this line here. I'll draw the arrow over here. And then y is less than 4 take away x. This is the line y is equal to 4 take away x. And because I want it to be less than, we are going to go below this line here as well. Okay, so we want to go below this line here as well. Okay, so let's just be clear about what we're shading. We're going this way and then below both of these lines here. So the area that I want is going to be all of this area here. Okay, and obviously I'm not doing a fantastic job of my shading here, but I think this is going to be good enough. Okay, again it says label the region R, so I'm just going to draw the letter R over here as well. Okay, so I hope you have found that useful. That is a couple of the questions, the types of questions that you might get on the level 3 algebra where you're shading inequalities. Take care, see you next time.